ask you to get in a nice, orderly line, and you'll be able to ask Ms. Barbara some questions.
Hello, everyone. How's it going? So this is my first ever solo panel. Wait until we end before you applaud. Thank you. Thanks for the moral support. So, how many of you have been to Phoenix Comic-Con or Comic Festival? How many of you met Kara or Aaron last year? Cool. Have any of you been down to the booth to see me yet? Yeah. The rest of you, what are you doing? Today, okay. I'll be there around 2 o'clock today, so come by after and we'll hang out. Anyone going to RTX this year? I want to. Come on, y'all!
We're college students.
All I hear are excuses, that's okay. Anybody here fans of RWBY? There's a whole section here that didn't raise their hand. Always open? What about Camp? What about, I'm gonna just keep naming shows. Rooster Teeth podcast? Cool. Well, hopefully next year after Bloodfest comes out, we'll have some cheers for that too. Yeah. Awesome. Well, I don't really have anything planned. Just gonna hang out and chat with you guys. So if you want to come on up for some Q&A, there's a microphone right here. And I'm sorry for that half of the room. I'll try to stand up every now and then. Are we able to move that microphone to that side just so? All right, walk in an orderly fashion.
Yeah, that's not gonna happen.
And let's curve it around that way, just so we're not blocking half the audience.
Aw.
I've just been to panels before where there's people standing up in front of me and I'm like, well, damn it. What am I supposed to do now? Thank you so much. Is that okay? I didn't ask the con, but that's okay. Hi, Katie. Hi. So this is Katie. We see her at literally every con we go to. If we had groupies, she would be the first one in it. Hi, Katie.
Hi. My question is, what would happen if your characters all had to switch the worlds they're in? Like if Nerris suddenly was thrown into Team RWBY.
Nerris would probably be overwhelmed by the amount of like cool weapons and stuff.
Like, oh my god, a unicorn! I'm gonna use these to kill people!
Yeah, I think she'd be a little overwhelmed. And Yang and Camp. I don't know who. I think she'd probably be friends with Arid because they're both really cool, or Nerf because they both like to hit things. Yeah, that would be an interesting crossover. I hope someday we can do that. Any fan art of that you guys want to do, that'd be amazing. Thank you.
2 questions, one for you, one for the rest of the audience, because I like to do this at various panels. Well, first of all, for you, my dear, as a fan question, that way you don't get in trouble with Rooster Teeth. As Yang is based off of Goldilocks, you know the story is like it's too hot, it's too cold, and then just right. Volumes 1 through 3, we see that Yang is in fact too hot.
She's always too hot.
And then volumes 4 and 5, we kind of see her a little too cold. You as a fan question and a fan answer, do you think in volume 6, would she still be too cold to keep in that 3 section, or do you think she's going to be just right?
Interesting. That's a good question. I actually have not read any of the scripts yet for volume 6.
That's why.
Fan
theory. This is why it's a fan
theory. I think she's still probably warming up a little bit, if I had to guess. I think she's still kind of getting over a lot of things and people abandoning her and kind of the craziness that happened in volume 5. So I would guess that she's starting to heat back up a little, probably still a little cold though. I was gonna make a comment of I'm kind of like Goldilocks too, where I lived in Canada and it was too cold. Now I'm in Austin and it's too hot, so I gotta find some place that's just right.
Arizona's not helping.
Yeah. It's in my hot list.
And then for the audience, if you're dressed as Ruby, I came with a Ursa minor who's sitting right there. If I can get everyone, if the panel is okay with me after you're done and everything's fine, if I can get a group picture.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. That's okay with the cameras. We'll make it okay.
Hi.
Hello.
So my question is, what is your favorite blooper, outtake, flub line that you've ever done?
Oh God. Probably a little inappropriate for a RWBY panel to say. There's been some swears. It's actually a voice acting technique when, if you're trying to get into the mood of a line or trying to get the emotion out of a line, to add a swear word to either the beginning or the end of it to really like pack the punch. So there's been a lot of F words thrown around with Yang, but I think my favorite, I don't know if I would call it a blooper or a flub, but it was something that made Miles and Carrie like die laughing. I was supposed to be punching something really fast, and this was I think season 1 or 2, but I didn't know how to do that, so it just kind of sounded like a whale dying. It was like, that's all I could really chalk it up to. Hello.
How are you?
I'm fantastic.
Good, good. My question's kind of generic. It's just, what's it like to work for Rooster Teeth? Yes.
Terrible.
Yeah.
Working with Gavin. No, it's awesome. It's been a crazy, crazy ride. I joined Rooster Teeth almost 7 years ago after being a fan since 2004. Thank you for the one applause. But no, it's extremely surreal to be there after having watched the content for years and years before joining. But the company has grown insanely. We're, I think, around 360 people now at the company, which is insane. When I joined, we were about 25. So it's grown a lot. The animation department especially has blown up, of course, with RWBY and Red vs. Blue, Can, RTAA, Nomad of Nowhere, now Genlock coming. Did you guys see the Genlock news, by the way? All right, for those who missed it, we're doing a new animated show called Genlock, and we just cast Michael B. Jordan in the lead role. So yeah, we're pretty excited. I hope I get to meet him someday. I'm gonna break my retainer.
This is a two-part question. So one, how are you liking Arizona so far?
Awesome. I've been here before, actually. I came almost exactly a year ago to visit Jessica Negri. Who's the most lovely person in the entire world. If you've never met her, I highly suggest it. But yeah, it was May of last year, came down to Phoenix. It was very hot. We swam a lot. And then we went to Sedona for a day, which was lovely. And I went on the Pink Jeep Tour, which was like an off-road Jeep tour up the mountain. There's a lot of bumping.
And then second part question. So you said you really want to meet Michael B. Jordan sometime because of how he's in Genlock and also just how you're a big fan.
Mm-hmm.
Who are some other big celebrities you'd like to possibly see cast in Genlock?
Oh man. I mean, like wish list?
Yeah.
Jennifer Lawrence. Yeah. That'd be pretty awesome. But it's also cool just to work with like voice actors we know. Like I'd love to see Troy Baker in something that we do. Nolan North.
Yep.
Just like tons of people who like I've been lucky enough to meet at other conventions I've gone to who are just so talented and so down to earth. And there's a lot of people. My list is endless of people I'd like to work with. But yeah, Jennifer Lawrence is one of my favorite actresses. Jim Carrey, be incredible. As a Canadian, I have to say that. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So I also have two questions. One of them, is background. I'm a huge punster, like you.
I'm sorry.
I like puns, basically. What are some of your favorite puns that made so many people groan?
Oh, jeez.
All of them. I And the thing I like about making puns, especially on the RT podcast, is that like Bernie and Gus or whoever else is on will always be like, oh, shut up. But Gavin is always so pleased. He's always like, that was really good. And I'm just like, thanks, Gavin. I know I did well if I can make you smile. I really like, oh, there's an upset baby in here. That baby does not like puns. I really like you need glasses to do math because it helps with division. It's one of my favorites.
And my second question is, if you could be in like any anime, even RWBY, which one would you be in?
Attack on Titan. I say that because it's the only anime I've watched. But also because I like it a lot. I would be so entertained to see Yang as a Titan.
That's be terrifying.
Yeah, she'd be very fast.
Titanifying.
Thank you.
Before I ask my question, I just want to say I love Always Open. I watch it every single time.
Thank
episode.
you.
And my question is, what has been your favorite episode of Always Open to do?
I was taught always to burp into microphones. Favorite Always Open episode? Man. I really like the ones we do with Miles. Miles is like one of my favorite people in the entire world. He's just so full of life and love and energy. And anything he brings to any show he's on is like really magical. But the one we did with Miles and Jessica Negri was really great. That was one of my favorites. Yeah, I don't know. We have some cool stuff in the works for next season, so I think one of the ones coming up might be my new favorite.
So excited to see it then.
Thank you, yeah.
I've been a fan for you for many years, and I watched Achievement Hunter before he was even on YouTube. So.
Damn, dude, you know Achievement Hunter started on YouTube, so that's impressive.
Rooster Teeth.
I got you, don't worry.
And I just love how Yang is basically the female version of Hulk. Because every time you hit her, just keeps on going strong.
You will like her when she's angry, though. It's the only opposite.
So my question is, what is your favorite weapon in like RWBY?
In RWBY, favorite weapon in RWBY? Oof. I like Ruby's scythe. It's so cool, and just the way she propels herself with the mechanisms and everything, and how she just slices everything just so seamlessly. I mean, in the Red trailer, that's I think where I fell in love with it first. But yeah, definitely the scythe.
Thank you.
Thank you. You guys are all so polite, just clapping at everyone's questions and answers. I love it.
All right. First off, I want to say, the way Yang is now, she's still better than Tifa.
Hey, rest in peace.
Secondly, on the topic of the puns, what was the one that made Bernie and Gus just groan the hardest? What was the one that you're most proud of?
Gosh, I don't know, all of them.
Yeah,
Anytime I could make them groan, I would get like, you know when you like level up a little bit?
Yeah. Your pride is just...
Yeah.
I love it. Please keep doing it.
Thank you. I will. And I'm going to cite this conversation when they complain. I'm sorry, people just want me to keep making puns. It's what the community wants. What could I do?
Hi, Barb. Pleasure to see you again.
Nice to see you again, too.
So I asked this question the last 2 years when Kara and Aaron were here. And so a lot of us, even before he joined Rooster Teeth, we took a lot of creative inspiration from Monty for Haloid and Dead Fantasy. And, you know, it's been a few years, but it still hurts. And I just wanted to ask, what is your favorite memory involving Monty?
Oh, I don't know if I could choose one. Monty was an incredible person for so many reasons. Just his ability to create such magical things and magical worlds was so inspiring to all of us. But I just remember a very specific moment, which is really cool. I had brought a friend of mine to the studio to like take a tour of Rooster Teeth, and it was late at night. Of course, Monty was there working. And I bring him over to Monty's desk and I introduce them, and I'm like, hey, tell them about RWBY, Monty, because it like was just getting started and not a lot of people knew about it. And we literally sat there for 3.5 hours as Monty went through everything about RWBY, all the characters and the weapons and the theories behind the names and the different like colored words and everything about that. And just seeing the excitement on his face and just like hearing how passionate about something that he created just out of thin air was so cool to watch. And I'll always remember that moment.
Thank you very much.
Hi, Barb.
Hello.
I just wanted to know if you have any projects coming up that you're going to be voicing in, like, I don't know, maybe the next season of Nomad of Nowhere or something like that.
I actually am in Nomad of Nowhere. Mm-hmm. You've already heard me.
Missed it.
I play, if you guys have seen Nomad of Nowhere, I think it was episode 2 when the Nomad meets the 3 little kids.
Oh.
I'm Dolores. I'm the little southern girl.
Do you have any other projects that you're going to be voicing that you're kind of excited about that you can talk about, or can you not talk about anything?
Nothing coming up. Hopefully, when we do more animated shows, more stuff comes up, and maybe more stuff with Funimation. I do Cosmos and Fairy Tale as well, so hopefully more stuff with them.
Awesome, thank you.
Nothing on the docket quite yet. Thank you.
You meet lots of people at these panels, signings. You meet lots of people, probably people that get like emotional, that you mean a lot to. Not me though, I don't cry. The joke is I cried yesterday.
Only you and I know that.
No one else. My question to you, I have a two-part question. My first question is, what celebrities or just writers, anyone, like, have you met or do you want to meet that you think you'll get that kind of reaction out of, or like cry or feel really emotionally compelled?
Oof. I don't get starstruck too often. I met the kids from Stranger Things recently, and that was really cool. I was like, oh my god, hi guys. But like I think especially like when you're like on this side of the convention and you get to like be lucky enough to be a guest and meet other guests at conventions, you learn that everyone's just a person. Everyone's just real people, and everyone is shy or anxious. Like I'm so introverted, so doing conventions is like, all right, let's do this. I have to like gear myself up for it, but I love it. But I don't know. I mean, anyone from the cast of Friends, I would freak out over. Nancy Cartwright or anyone from The Simpsons, because I grew up watching that. Yeah, I would say that. Those are probably my top groups.
And my second question is, what movies, books, YouTube channels that maybe that aren't maybe as popular, do you recommend to people who might not have heard of them?
YouTube channels and stuff?
YouTube channels, books, movies, what media in general?
I only watch and listen to popular things. I'm not a hipster at all. Man, I mean, Ready Player One is a great book. I read it before the movie came out and saw the movie. Liked both of them. They're very different. Arguably. I would say so too. Gosh. The Martian was a great book. But again, very popular. But yeah, those are two of my favorites as of late, I would say.
Thank you.
Thank you. I love your cosplay.
Thank you.
You're so cute. Where's your box?
I don't have one. No.
Someone get this lady a box.
So what's your favorite line that you voiced as Yang?
Ooh. Yes. I feel like there's like my personal favorite and there's like some fan favorites. Like everyone loves, I always kick my semesters off with the Yang! For obvious reasons. But I really liked, in this most recent volume, the whole confrontation between Yang and Raven in the second to last episode. That's like one of my favorite scenes to voice. And getting to say, because you're afraid of Salem, was like a really cool moment for me. It's just like, take that, biatch.
I'm nodding, but I'm trying not to have my ears fall.
background, I started getting really into Rooster Teeth, starting with Volume 2 of RWBY when that came out.
Nice.
I was a super anti-anime guy, and then I watched it and I was like, this is freaking amazing.
Well, some people still don't call it anime, so you're okay.
But as always, like I've been collecting comic books for about 10 years, super into superheroes. So if you could have Team RWBY meet like any superheroes or any superhero groups, who would you have them all collide?
The Avengers.
Yes.
Although I don't know if I'd want them to be in the most recent Avengers movie. Because I don't know what would happen to them. No spoilers, I promise. But yeah, I think Yang meeting Hulk would be great. I think RWBY meeting Captain America. Blake meeting Black Widow.
Oh, yes.
And then I would say Weiss meeting
Tony Stark.
Iron Man. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, she already knows Ironwood, so just.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi.
Hello.
I was wondering your opinions on Bumblebee.
She's probably.
Every panel. As a fan of RWBY, not someone who's officially part of RWBY, I love it. I want it to happen. I love Bumblebee. I think Blake and Yang are a great pair. But yeah, I can't say whether or not it's going to happen because I actually don't know, but I'm a fan of the ship.
Save the bees! Save the bees!
How's it yanging?
Yanging good. Yanging a little to the left.
Have you ever wrote any of your favorite puns, or have you wrote any puns for the show?
Have I written any puns for the show?
Yeah.
Surprisingly, no.
Wow. What?
Those are the writers who do that.
What?
But then there's been some times where I read something and I'm like, no, I changed it around a little bit, but I think they get to have some fun, especially with RWBY Chibi.
Yes.
A lot of puns in that one. My favorite part about RWBY Chibi and the puns is how the episode with Tai Yang and RWBY and Yang doing the pun off.
Oh,
because Bernie, who voices Tai Yang, hates puns. So like forcing him into that voice role and having to make him do that is like my favorite thing. It's like torture for him. Thank you.
Hello.
Hello.
Having a mini panic attack right now.
You got this, don't worry.
So I have a two-part question and another question.
So it'd be 3 questions.
Well, technically, yes. So who's your favorite character to voice? And if you could have any other voice actor voice them, who would it be?
I think honestly it's probably Yang is my favorite. Just because I've really grown with that character. She's the first ever voice I ever did for any animated show, so it's a special place in my heart. I also love doing Nerris and Cam Cam just because it's so different than my normal voice, so it's always fun. I always build up a lot of phlegm in my throat whenever I do Nerris, because it's a lot of talking in the back of my throat, so it just builds up and it's really sexy. And then if I could have someone else voice it, I think like, I don't know, like Tara Strong or something.
Ooh,
She'd be awesome. She's really, really
She
talented.
can voice anything.
Yeah, probably. Don't tell her though, because I'll be out of a job.
And my other question is, how do you do the Nerris voice?
So I basically close my throat.
I just kind of talk like this, and I just make myself sound like I have braces or a retainer.
And that's it, just it. I don't really know how to instruct anybody on how to do a voice.
Basically, you suffocate yourself?
I suffocate myself. And when I was trying to find that voice, I used to plug my nose to make it really nasally.
And just kind of do it like this.
But then I found I didn't need it after a while. And my nose started to get red, so I stopped doing it.
All right, cool. Thank you.
Thank you.
I think I got. Okay, cool.
You got it.
Awesome. Got it. I got it.
Hello.
So I
actually am kind of sad because I'm a huge fan of Always Open as well, and I was supposed to bring a box of issues to give to you.
No!
But it wasn't finished, and I felt really bad about it.
That's
so
an issue.
Eventually I'll send that to you somehow, some way. I'll figure it out.
Put a box in another box.
Put a box in another box, and then that box is actually a bigger box of issues, and then we just continue to cycle.
Exactly.
And then we send it to Bernie. So
Don't.
That box will burn. It will probably burn. Let's be honest. So
Bernie burns.
So
Do not clap for that.
Let's not fan the flames any further on this one. All right, now that flame war is done. Oh my god. So. My question. Oh, that's right. So I'm pretty sure you mentioned it in one episode, but I can't remember. What was your inspiration for starting Always Open, and did you always want to have your own podcast because of your experience with the Rooster Teeth podcast?
I actually never thought of having my own podcast. It wasn't until a couple of years ago when we're like, we should probably make more content that has more of the awesome ladies at Rooster Teeth in it, because we have so many awesome girls who just don't get to be featured, and it's unfortunate. So me and Mariel started working on it together, and it was a lot of brainstorming and figuring out what it should be, because we didn't want to just make the Rooster Teeth podcast for girls or with girls, because that's just essentially copying content we already have and just rebranding it in a way. So Always Open was something that we worked really hard on making. We don't want to make it just for anybody in particular, just a way to feature more of our talent and stuff like that. So it was a long process, but I'm very proud of how it turned out and what the show is.
Honestly, the vibe is just so different, but still feels similar to the Rooster Teeth podcast. I had no idea who Mariel was, and I felt so bad because I'm like, I know she's in everything somewhere. I just couldn't find her face.
She actually started as an intern a couple of years ago, I think like 2014. And I remember the day we met very specifically because I saw her and I was like, hey, like, welcome to Rooster Teeth, what's your name? And she said, Mariel. And I was like, Mariel? Never heard that name before. It's like a tasty Ariel. Mariel.
I apologize, but my second question is, why is there a dildo in almost every episode of Always Open?
What are you talking about?
This is like okay, so I think it was like in like season 1, we had like a huge discussion about dildos, and I was like, why is this happening? And then it kind of trailed off into other episodes. So I was curious if that was just like a shtick.
I literally have no idea what you're talking about.
Crazy.
Maybe you are. Maybe you should sort your own.
You're still upset about the box of issues.
It's possible.
It's totally possible.
I'll look into that, because maybe we have something subliminal happening.
I don't know. I just heard dildos and it's been stuck, and I'm like, why? Why is this still a thing?
I'm sorry to any young fans in the audience.
Yeah, I forgot this was supposed to be a PG.
It's okay. Thank you.
Hi. It's
You look awesome.
Thanks. I'm actually really excited to meet you because watching RWBY has been a really big part of me and actually helped me through some personal issues I had. Watching it made me feel just happy again. So
that's awesome.
One of the questions I wanted to ask was Raven and Yang's scene at the end of the last volume. Did you prepare for anything for like how passionate and like deep you got with the dialogue? Because that's one of my favorite scenes of all of RWBY, and you just best acting I think from you. So.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Also, I'm very sorry that you were going through a hard time, but I'm very happy to hear that you are doing better and that RWBY could be any help at all, and that goes for everybody here. That's why we do it. That scene was really challenging for me because I'm very fortunate to have very loving and supportive parents, and I've never had any parental issues such as someone abandoning me when I was young or anything like that. So pulling inspiration for that scene was very difficult. But growing up and voicing Yang for the last 5 years, I have come to know the character very well, and so it is a lot easier for me to put myself in her shoes than it was at the beginning, and kind of grow on this journey with her. So for that scene, I read through the script, the whole script, not just my own lines, read all the context of the scene and everything going on, and just really tried to imagine, like, how would I feel towards someone who just abandoned me and who is acting this way, like they don't care about someone who should be so important to them, and just be angry, but also sad. And so pulling that out was hard, but it was, I think as a voice actor, it's very fun to do.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We have under 30 minutes, so can we have questions just to one, please?
Hi.
Hello.
Really quick question. Who's your favorite other voice actor from RWBY to work with?
Oh God. Are any of them in this room right now hiding? We actually, none of us record together, so we don't get to actually work with each other technically. So honestly, everybody is fun for their own reasons. Like getting to come to conventions with the other girls is so much fun, and we play off each other so well. And it's always awesome getting to meet fans all around the world who identify with each of the RWBY girls in different ways, and Kara, Aaron, and Lindsay are also awesome. But also working with Miles and Carrie as directors, and they're also part of the cast as well. But working with them as directors has been such a pleasure, and they are so much fun and silly, and they do the voices for me, which really helps put myself into the scene. So yeah, I would say just the whole cast has been phenomenal.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I got a quick question. In RTX, are we going to get more news about RWBY and Gen 1?
Yes.
Yeah.
So come to RTX.
Hello.
Hello.
So my question is, what inspired the masks for the Grin in RWBY? Because I see like some red designs off of it. I think it's sort of inspired from Ichigo's mask from Bleach is also what I'm cosplaying as.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I'm actually not sure. That would probably be a better question for the team that designed the costumes and the look of the show.
Also, who do you voice in Red versus Blue? Because when I went through all the seasons for one day, I stayed up until 2 a.m. doing this because I was bored and I'm a night owl.
Did you start at 2 a.m. the night before?
No, I started at 11 and then...
Yeah, because there are now 16 seasons.
By the way, I did this out in the middle of nowhere on a ranch,
Oh,
by the
wow.
way, with Wi-Fi.
I'm glad we could entertain you for a lot of hours. I voiced Jensen. She's appears in like the later seasons.
Okay. Well, that's also cool. Can I also get a video of you saying your Yang pun for when school starts? It's for my friend.
If you want to come down to the booth, we'll do it there.
Okay.
Thank you. Hello.
I have a question. During camp, was there anyone else you wanted to voice act besides Nerris?
I actually auditioned for Nikki as well, who Elizabeth Maxwell plays and plays it so amazingly. But yeah, Nikki was the other one I auditioned for. But then I saw that there was a nerdy Dungeons and Dragons character, and I was like, I have to do this. I need her. But yeah, that one. Thank you.
So going off that previous question, aside from anything you've already done, is there any character you've seen, like at all, like the entire life that you wanted to voice?
Like a Rooster Teeth?
Like anyone. Like is there anyone that you've seen and just been like, I think it'd be cool if I voiced that person?
I don't know if it's because I'm typecast, but like any character that's blonde. It's like, it's me! But yeah, it's honestly, doing voices in cartoons or animated series at all is just like such a blast because you get to be not yourself, and that's really fun.
Thank you.
Thank you. Hello again.
So this is to your Always Open show. I love it, especially when it comes to roasting or toasting. Especially my favorite one was Miles' little booty butt that you guys ended up toasting. So if you could have somebody on the show specifically specifically to roast or toast the food.
Gus. I want to see some baby diaper-ass photos of Gus running around. I want to see him as a little chubby baby. That's a goal of mine, so yeah, I would probably say Gus, because he's very private, and he probably has a lot of good stuff locked away.
I was wondering if Yang was a maiden, what season do you think she would be?
She was a maiden. Probably summer. I think she's the hottest one. Not saying. Yeah, probably summer.
Thank you.
Hello.
I was gonna ask, during the production of RWBY, do you guys do the voice lines before or after the actual animation?
We voice way before the actual animation, yeah. So we're very lucky with RWBY because we get to do the voices before animation even starts. So we get to kind of do them in our own way, and then they animate over that. Whereas when you're dubbing for a Japanese anime, it's obviously already animated in voice, so you have to match the mouth movements, which makes it really challenging to voice act because you have to act, fit in a line, read the line, and also match the mouth. So it makes it very challenging, but with RWBY we get to just go crazy with it. Thank you. Hello.
3 questions real quick. First, have you met Big Ben?
One question. One.
One? Okay.
Just come to my booth later, you can ask me there.
Okay, here's one of the obvious ones. If you could have an upgrade to your weapon, would you like to have shotgun boots?
Boots?
To it.
Oh, she could like propel herself off the ground like Iron Man out of there. That'd be very cool. Hell yeah, that'd be awesome. I always wanted Yang to be able to like modify also like her robot arm. Sorry for anybody who hasn't seen season 4 or 5 yet. Her robot arm to be able to like attach other things like a huge cannon or something.
Yes, that'd be great.
I'd love to see that too.
All right.
Someone please ask for the
You're
microphone
welcome.
function.
Let's not bring up RTX last year. I know what you're thinking.
Good afternoon.
Hello.
Hi. So I wanted to say, I wanted to say thanks for everything that you guys have done at Rooster Teeth. I've been following since way in the early days with the original RWBYs.
Well, thank you.
Everything you guys have been doing. One thing I wanted to ask you, since you started as a fan, you moved into doing voice acting, you do your own show now. What's your dream for something you'd like to do with Rooster Teeth in the next 5-10 years?
I would love to write and direct something with Rooster Teeth, specifically a feature film. So getting to be at Rooster Teeth and like getting to act and do all the stuff behind the scenes has been really awesome, but it's also given me a lot of insight into production and stuff like that, and directing is definitely on my bucket list now.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah.
Who would your dream always open yes to?
Albert Einstein. Just kidding. I want to know all of his sex secrets. Let's see. I would love to have the girls from Broad City on. Does anybody watch Broad City? Okay. Yeah, it's a really funny show, and they are like essentially if you had me and Mariel, but again, and in different bodies, it'd be those girls. So it'd be essentially like having 2 me and Mariel people on the show, which is just chaos. Thank you.
I just want to say 1, you're amazing in RWBY.
Thank you.
2, thank you for always open. Thank you for being so candid about everything. It's one of my favorite shows. I have yet to miss an episode.
Good. That's what I like to hear.
I have a question, but I also want to give you a pun.
Awesome.
Right?
I'll allow it.
So the pun is, what do you call it when Hannibal Lecter attends a comic panel?
What?
Phoenix Comic Feast.
Bravo, bravo.
The question is either from a fan or from a voice actor viewpoint. Which was your favorite action sequence in RWBY?
I still have a very soft spot for Volume 1, Episode 8, the fight with the Nevermore.
Oh, yes!
I watch that at least once a month. It gives me chills every time I see it. I'm just like, oh, I think that was the moment I think a lot of people fell in love with RWBY.
Yep,
myself included.
yep.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Also the food fight.
Yes, the food fight.
Hello.
Hello.
So, I have less of a question and more of just, I wanted to thank you for everything that you put out. I'm a huge fan ever since RWBY started. I was, Yang and Hero were my favorites, and I've watched Always Open since it was introduced to me. But this is more of a feels trip, because
Love it.
in 2
Buckle
days,
up.
I turned 23. And last year I was at Kara's panel here, and both of these trips were thanks to those two over there. Last year was Antonio, this year is Antonio and Katie. Last year Antonio got Kara to sing Happy Birthday to me in her panel in front of everyone, and I was just,
Aww.
it was exhilarating. That was great, but it's just great to be here, to be able to meet you, to be here last year as well, so I'm just very thankful for this opportunity.
Thank you so much. That's very sweet. That's coming up, or just everyone's birthday's coming up. Thank you. Yeah, honestly, you guys make our life. Getting to come out to these conventions and meet everyone who has such love and passion for RWBY or Rooster Teeth or anything that we do is just so life-changing and amazing. So thank you all for being here to see us. Thank you.
Hi. So, if Yang had to switch weapons with one other cast member, excepting Ruby and Velvet, because that'd be cheating, who and why?
I just think with any other weapon, she'd be a huge klutz. I guess Weiss's sword.
Ooh.
Just because she's very not dainty, and she'd probably just whack people with it.
I could really see her going for Magpie, Nora's hammer.
That'd be good too. Damn it. That one. I changed my answer. I always forget about Nora's hammer. That's a good one. Thank you. We're telling secrets up here.
It's alright, I can hear them, I won't share. No, I know you've heard a lot about Always Open, and I think you really should get praise for that show because it is a beautiful humanitarian piece to have.
Thank you.
And I want to ask you, what do you want to see more of on that show? Because I know it's your baby, it's your and Mariel's baby. What do you want to see more of as far as from us? You guys bring up a lot of personal questions that people talk about all the time, but what do you want to give back and want to see more of from your show?
I think I'd like us to be able to tackle some more serious issues a little more. We did an episode a couple seasons ago about mental health and anxiety and eating disorders, and I would like to see us do more about that because I think especially with our audience who is growing up and learning about themselves and about the world and going through growing up, which is so hard. I think just opening the door to these conversations and to these issues is so important. So I'm hoping we could do that more and still keep it light and fun. That's always the hard balance of we still want people to have fun on the show and to laugh and to feel and to everything. So it's always a balance of not wanting to get too deep or too dark with some things, but I would love to see us tackle some more serious stuff.
I think that's a good direction, and if anyone can pull it off, your guys' team is a good team to start with.
Thank you so much. It means a lot.
Hi.
Hello.
I had a question for, if there was a show dedicated all to Yang, how would she react?
I mean, isn't that what RWBY is? I'm just kidding. I think she'd be pretty excited. I would imagine that show would involve a lot of her getting angry at people and fighting them and causing a lot of destruction.
I would also like to say I love
Oh, thank you so much. That's only because the other girls aren't here. Thank you.
So what do you think are some other really cool weapons, like just out there, like in Bloodborne, how they have the trick weapons that transform and stuff? Like, what are your favorite other really cool weapons?
I like in Skyrim the power of the voice. I want Yang to fushu da some people. That's what I want. To me, that's the coolest. But no, I think it'd be awesome to also have like a portal gun or something from Portal. I think that would be very cool. I know it's technically not a weapon, but tool.
It can be used as a weapon.
It can be used as a weapon, yeah. Like punch through it or something. Portal. That'd be sick. I'm gonna write that one down.
Hello.
Hello.
It's my first kind of convention, so I'm happy to finally meet you in person.
We did it.
Yeah?
We got him here, guys.
Whatever, but my question is, if you had the opportunity to, would you actually voice act in games?
Hell yeah. No, I would say yes to almost anything. Don't take that to heart. Technically, I have done games. They're RWBY games, but they're still games. We did a Grim Eclipse, and then we did Blaze Blue, Cross-Tag Battle. RWBY is in that, and I had to voice for 3 hours on that game. It was exhausting.
So yesterday you told me about Ty's voice actor, about how he has to say puns all the time. I was just kind of curious, what's your favorite Chibi episode, and what are Aaron, Lindsay, and Kara's favorite?
Let me call them real fast. I know a lot of us like the episode where they did the play. Little Red Riding Hood. Blake in that episode is so funny. She just like how monotone she is. Yeah, I love the episode where Tai Yang and Yang are punning and everyone's miserable. I also love the one where we get introduced to Uncle Crow and he flies into the window.
Yes!
They're just so great. I love the little gags that they have there. Also when they made a band, Battle of the Bands. Thank you.
Hello again.
Hello.
So I have a question. What's the most humbling thing that's happened to you at a panel or a convention?
I mean, it's happened here already so many times. It's just whenever anybody tells us their story and how our shows or our content have helped them in any way. Because getting to be a part of anyone's happiness, even just a little bit, is more than I ever thought I'd be able to do. So that is insanely humbling. I don't feel like I deserve it, but it's incredible that we could have that effect on anybody's life. So it's an honor.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello again. So you mentioned that you and everybody else definitely put a lot of yourself into your characters, especially like with some of the earlier seasons before you got people like Vic Mignogna to sign on and some more, I guess, professional voice acting.
What are you trying to say about
No,
this?
that's not. I knew it the moment I said it. So my question is, like, when you guys do a table read, when Miles and Carrie come out with a new script, how much input, if any, do you guys have, like, in the direction or the dialogue, or basically saying, like, I think Yang might react like this way, as opposed to how it was exactly written in the early versions of the script?
I mean, if we wanted to have input, we could. We usually don't need to, because Miles and Carrie, I mean, they wrote these characters with Monty, and they know them so inside and out, more so than we do as voice actors. So I would say we rarely ever give input. I don't think I ever have on something that they wrote for Yang. It's usually spot on, because they know her voice and they know her character. So I just am along for the ride.
Great answer, thank you.
Thank you.
Hello again.
Hello.
I wanted to ask you, what was your favorite Gavin moment?
Am I allowed to say none of them? Gavin's great. He's great. There was one time when I had this, I think there's like an R2 Life of it. It's like this goo that you're supposed to clean keyboards with. Like you stick it in a keyboard and you take it out. And there was one time when he was recording in the Achievement Hunter office, and I was just like, I'm just gonna throw this at Gavin. And I came in and I just like put it down his shirt, and he goes, "What is it? What is it? What?" And he like got up and ran out of the room. Just like seeing him freak out over like essentially nothing makes my heart very happy. So I'll continue to do that. Thank you.
Hi Barbara.
Hello.
Is that okay? Really awkward here. I wanted to ask, as someone with a background in performing arts who is looking to go into that as a career path, I wanted to ask about your career path and what steps you might recommend to someone who's interested in that field.
I am probably the worst person to ask. Unfortunately, I actually studied marketing growing up.
What?
I got a degree in business and e-com, but I would say connections is a huge thing. Meet people at cons, go to events, meet other actors or voice actors, get their information, make a reel. I think a lot of people who want to go into acting or voice acting, if they look into making a reel, they just kind of take everything that they've done, which isn't necessarily the best course of action. You should take everything that you're most proud of and the things that really show your range and your skills. So I would say those are the first steps to take. Don't get discouraged too easily, because everyone gets said no to until they're finally said yes to. And that's kind of the way it is for a lot of people. But I took a very untraditional path, so I'm not the best to advise on that.
Great, thank you.
But good luck. Hi.
I know a lot of people like the whole standoff between Yang and her mother, but emotionally taxing-wise, which do you think would be worse? An actual physical fight between Yang and her mom, or Yang and Adam?
Oh
jeez.
Oh my God. I think a fight between Yang and Adam would be over very quickly.
Yeah.
I think, I think she's very unhappy about something. He took something from her. It's very important. But yeah, honestly, I think probably at this point, Yang and Adam would be more emotionally taxing, because I think just of everything that happened and how what Adam did to her changed her completely. She did a complete 180 on her personality and her way of life. So, and also everything with Blake. You know, she cares about Blake a lot, and she's a very important person to her. And seeing how Adam has treated her and what he's done to her and everything like that, I think that she has a lot more anger towards him than she does her mom at this point.
Thank you.
Hey, Bob.
Hello.
The main reason I'm here is because of you and maybe Steve Bloom.
Oh, Dad.
I was wondering, you said the Nevermore is your favorite action sequence, but who is your favorite character to watch fight in this series? Mine's Roman, because the way he handles Sun and Blake in the first volume is probably my favorite animation sequence in the whole series.
Mm-hmm. Is it weird if I say Yang?
No.
I think probably Yang. Like, even as someone watching the show, even if I didn't have any connection to the character, I think Yang would be my favorite. I've always been a fan of like brawl characters and people that just like get up and personal with people. I've always played those characters in video games. I love close combat, but like especially her fight with the people on the motorcycle in the middle of the woods. Love that one with the bandits. Her fight with the mech in season 2.
Yes!
Yeah, I loved seeing that, especially because she gets stronger with every hit, so it's kind of unfair. But yeah. Thank you.
Hi, Barb.
Hello.
Hi, as much of a Rooster Teeth fan, I'm also a huge Funhouse fan.
Oh.
I'm just curious if you had any favorite Elise moments.
Oh my God. My girl. I don't know if I could pick just one. It might have had to been on the set of 11 Little Roosters. Anybody see that show? So Elise and I were playing the Canadian Assassins, which, I mean, those two words don't go together. It was just like us trying to do a Canadian accent together and failing miserably at it was so much fun. But there was one scene where someone's supposed to open the door, and she's supposed to like say something about watching some TV show in Canada, and she like kept saying like, oh, beaver hunting, oh, like beluge, and she kept saying like different Canadian words that weren't making any sense together. Probably that moment, just because she kept making mistakes and getting angry at herself and saying sorry over and over again.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
This will be the last question.
I'll be at my booth at 2 if you can come ask questions there, I promise. Oh, well, I feel honored to be the last one.
Cinder. So, oh my gosh, I lost my question. So out of any non-Yang storylines, what has been your favorite to kind of follow and like, you're like, oh, I really want to see where this goes because that seems really awesome.
I love Weiss's storyline with her family. I think there's so much depth in that story, and I love it when she speaks up to her father in the previous volume. That was like such a cool moment. And also to see Kara grow as a voice actress with Weiss is really cool. So I would say that's probably my favorite.
Awesome.
It's hard to pick one though.
I know they're all so good.
Thank you, Barbara, so much. We started this panel like a couple minutes early. You've gone non-stop.
Of course, yeah.
So
I would
thank
answer
you
everyone if I could.
And again, like Barbara said, she'll be at her panel today at 2 and 4.
2 and 4, yeah.
Yep. And then on Sunday, also at 10:30 and 2 p.m. as well.
Yes.
Right? No change.
Something like that, I don't know.
So can we give Barbara another round of applause?
Bloodfest, we're still working on the premiere date. It's been picked up by a bunch of film festivals, which is really cool, but that also means that networks and different studios are now looking at the movie for possible theater distribution. So hopefully in theaters, because then you'll get to see my giant stupid face on a movie theater screen.